Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lavis Palmer again on Lavis Podcast Show. Today, I'm just thinking about something wild in my mind, particularly to families who migrated into various parts of the country in the diaspora, and especially in those countries where the culture and way of life is totally different from African perspective or Zimbabwe to be specific. So I was just thinking about my kids in particularly when it comes to the future in terms of marriage, in terms of lifestyle, in terms of culture. It's inevitable that when these children are in a setup like this in Europe, they tend to follow the culture of the native country they're in. It's even in the Bible. The Bible says, when in Rome, do what the Romans do, so that you will be able to live in the space, in the space, in the sphere you are, so that you are not under a lot of pressure, you are not under a lot of stress. But of course, there are certain aspects that we still need to safeguard our children from, because morally they'll be wrong, culturally they'll be incorrect, big time. Even if you're a Christian, some of the cultures and beliefs will be wrong. So I was just thinking, what is going to happen? There's this thing about courtship of our children. Our children are growing fast and they're exposed to a lot of understanding, information, and it's a subject that we really sit down and talk about as families, because of our culture probably. Relationships and love issues have always been a taboo, have always been something difficult to confront, and but anyway, we have to bridge the gap and we have to address certain issues. But the way of addressing them is now the big question we need to ask ourselves. Now, we're talking about courtship, right? One of the things that I believe and feel is that we have to maintain where we come from, and we have to maintain our Ubuntu Urano, and our history, our culture, our heritage. It's important to keep our culture and our heritage, because that's a blessing, that's a God-given gift that we need to uphold. Now, intermarriages do happen, and in as far as you might want to keep the culture, you want to still be connected to the roots, but the children might not, because they might find somebody in the context of their environment. They might find somebody coming from a different nationality. It could be Irish, it could be from any country of the European, it could be from Asia, it could be from other countries in Africa, like Nigeria, just to mention a few. So these do happen, and when you have a daughter, for example, in my case I have two daughters, if they were to get married, it means they'll lose their connectivity in terms of their roots, because they have to go to the environment set up and the home of their husbands. So it's sort of something scary, and the community, the African community, like the Zimbabwean community, for example, they are their sons, their daughters, but now for these children to have a common ground whereby they can relate with each other, they can meet and talk, they can mingle and mix. There is nothing that exists, so people are living in isolation, they're living a life of their own. So it's difficult, and you can't make an arranged marriage for your child either, because it has to come from the heart of the individual who is going to stay with the person for the rest of their lives. So those are the things that we need to ask ourselves: what's going to happen in terms of courtship, in terms of marriages to our children? What's going to happen? And these are the questions. These are the questions we need to ask ourselves. Um, and how often do we sit down with our children and discuss these matters? And at what stage do you begin to have a conversation about relationships with your child? And those are the questions that cuts across the divide. Wherever you are, you might be in Africa, in Zimbabwe, and South Africa, Botswana, Lesotho, Zambia, Namibia. These are the questions you have to ask yourself. You could be Nigeria, Ghana, Namibia, Congo. These are the questions that we need to ask yourselves. And what is our role as parents? What should we do? And we need to have conversations and discussions and share ideas as to how to counter, how to have solutions to these problems, to these issues. And yeah, I'll come back again some other time with some other stories. For now, it's cheers. Please like and subscribe to my channel. My name is Lovers, and I'm out.